Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny from Relentless and Unstoppable. Today we have Jasper Bagg with us from one of the Thor movies. Hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Douglas.
It's a pleasure to have you. So give our followers a bit of what you're known for.
Being known for things, I've been acting for an awful long time. It was 1984 that I was first on set with someone called James Coburn, if you remember him. He was
Yep.
our man Flint, and in a lot of other great movies. I was very fortunate to have some lunch with him. So, my first experience was quite wonderful. But also within that same year of 1984, when I was 18, I remember standing with my agent. I'd auditioned to be the new Pony Express rider in a massive Disney Channel 7 series that was here in Australia called 5 Mile Creek. And I remember waiting with my agent in the office for the deal memo to come through the old fax machine, and he's standing there with his cigarette and the old started up as the fax came through. And what it was a letter from Disney and Channel 7, a generic letter saying we're pulling the plug on the entire show. So of course my role didn't go ahead, and you go, okay, I've got an idea of how this career works, which is very little in our control. But I kept acting after that. I did a lot of theater. I went to a place called Whopper, same place where Hugh Jackman went a bit after me, and it was an amazing institution in Perth, Western Australia. Really amazing grounding for an actor in those times anyway. And since then, since the 90s, I've just kept foraging as an actor. So I was on Neighbours with Russell Crowe, as his buddy way back in 1987. I did an amazing film about, must be like 8 years ago now, called Joker Game, which went #1 on the Japanese box office. That was a massive, I had all these sword fights, and it was a wonderful experience filming that. So look, I'm what I call a working actor. I just keep going and going. As I say, a lot of theater. I've been artistic director of a theater company, and just plugging things, and I've got to work with some amazing people. Brian Cox, the wonderful actor, I got to work with him in a 10 episode series called The Straits up in northern Queensland, which was absolutely fantastic. He was the lead of that. And I only had I had several scenes with him, but one specifically one-on-one scene where I was the only one in 10 episodes that got to play higher status than him. And that was just a wonderful experience. You work with actors like that, and they just give so much. They're so willing to allow another actor to have their space and time on set. So I've been very fortunate in that respect. And a lot of other actors. I've worked with Ioan Gruffudd. I've worked with, the good old man from The Tourist. I don't know if you guys saw any of The Tourist over there in England. The guy from 50 Shades of Grey was the lead in that. He was also in Ant-Man, I believe, and a few other things. But look, some of my favorite gigs, I played a pirate, which is when I first met Andy McPhee. We got to play pirates together on a wonderful show called Pirate Islands a few years ago. And of course, I had a cameo in Pacific Rim Uprising. Steve McKnight was so wonderful to give me a bit of a play in that. But around the same time as when I did Thor Ragnarok. And I think it's because of my my willingness to play. The audition for it was a self-test, of course, and I had very little information, just that he was a doorkeeper. That was basically it. And I had, I think, 3 lines for the audition. And something I never normally do is what I did is I presented more than one take. I actually presented 6 takes. And my wife, who's behind the camera for my self-tests, she didn't know what I was going to do next. And neither did I, to be honest. What I decided to do was change my accent for each take. And in changing the accent, of course, you're changing your cultural attitude. So I just threw it out there, and Taika obviously saw that I could play and, offered me a gig.
That's incredible. James Coburn, wasn't he the actor of the crab spider-like monster in Monsters, Inc.?
I'm not. I I'm not sure because he died a while ago now, so I don't know if it was him. James Coburn was he was in the Magnificent Seven. He was in. Have you ever seen The Great Escape? He plays the Aussie in The Great Escape, the Scrounger. So it was very wonderful to me. I got because I was the only other person to have a line that session that we were filming. It was called Death of a Soldier, true story of Leonsky, an American GI in Melbourne during the Second World War who raped some women, and he actually was court-martialed and put to death, I believe. It
Wow.
was a big movie, massive, but that's the man. That's our man. He was also
Yep.
our man Flint, the
Yep. It
American
says here
takeoff
he
of
was.
James Bond.
Yep. It says right here he was in Monsters Inc.
Oh, he was. Well, there you go. Excuse my ignorance. I don't see a lot of the cartoon movies. But he was wonderful to me at lunchtime. He just spoke to me about nobody knows. I think he was quoting William Goldman, but he really said, nobody knows, Jasper, you, like you do, and only you can bring you. So don't worry about the others. Don't worry about anything. Just do your thing. And it's something, well, to be honest, I already was doing my thing as a young man. I was that kind of guy. But I really did take it to heart. And for better or worse, you just forge ahead as yourself. That's all as an actor I've got to bring myself, and I bring that in spades.
Yeah, for sure. It makes a lot of sense. So, are you into voice acting?
Yes, yes. Over the years, I've done a lot. In fact, there was a passage of time where I was this actor who'd go into the studio and revoice Jackie Chan movies from Chinese into American, and that was a lot of fun because you start getting this. Hey, my name is Professor Wu. You will not be hurting me again. And you'd have to fit with the mouth of what I presume was Mandarin or Cantonese, and try to adapt it to English in an American accent. That was an awful lot of fun. But yeah, over the years, I've done quite a lot of voice work, which I enjoy very much.
Think you could give us some examples of voice accents?
It depends on the character. You know what I'm saying? This sounds like somebody from, he's a bit of a gangster guy, but accents are also very important. You know what I'm saying? My mother's an American, she's New Yorker, so I very much get this very much, Americans, they don't like to put full stops in very much. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they just want to keep talking. Oh, hi, Bruce. How you going? Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. What I was saying is, do you like biscuits? Because I really, so I love playing with character. An accent, a lot of people think is just a sound, but it's not. It's an actual attitude, a cultural attitude. You get your French arrogance, you get your Russian sort of hard line, you get your South African, a bit ugly, you know what I'm saying? So it's playing. That's the wonderful thing about being an actor is we get to play. There's no coincidence they call it a play up on stage. And that is because we truly get to play. But a lot of people think we're pretenders, and I fight hard against that because I'm not a pretender. I actually call myself a bit of a shaman because what we are truth sayers. Hamlet's one of my favorite roles, and to go back to his William Shakespeare's quote, we are here to hold the mirror up to nature, as to were. We are here to reflect you in the audience. And I take that very seriously, no matter how much fun it is. Yeah.
Are you able to do your pirate accent from the Pirate Island?
Well, I played Darcy the Dandy. So, in fact, he was a bit British at the time, So, if he'd go, he was just mocking the other pirates. That was Darcy, yes. And, but, if you want to go pirates, it's all in the face, I think anybody who tells you, an accent has got to do with altering, where it's coming from. You know what I'm saying, kid?
Have you ever heard about the new pirate movie? It's rated R.
You funny guy. Actually, there's a lot going on with that, isn't there? I hear Johnny's just been signed up again, and they've put the other female one to the side at the moment for Margot Robbie.
Hmm. Sounds pretty cool. I'll have to look into that. Are you talking about the Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yep, they've just signed Johnny up to do a new one.
Oh, I'll have to look into that. That's
And they
pretty
were going
cool.
to be doing one with Margot Robbie, but apparently that's been slated for now.
Yeah. You can't have a Pirates of the Caribbean without Jack Sparrow and
I,
Johnny Depp.
I think you're right about that. I really do. Mm.
Like I was hoping they'd bring him back at least in maybe an older capacity if they needed to.
Well, you know what you're talking like. That's like Harrison Ford, isn't he? Just releasing his fifth Indiana Jones, and he ain't no spring chicken. But I'm sure people will flock to that.
Definitely. So tell us about the Thor movie and what the production was like.